Before he turned 19, he had already won everything. But somehow he wasn't the first pick in the NBA draft. 6 years and many records later, Luka Dončić is one of the most talented basketball players of all time. In this video, we'll analyze Luka Magic's incredible talent and tell the unlikely story of how a kid from Slovenia became one of the NBA's biggest stars. Today, Luka is a reality. His father, Sasa Doncic, was a professional basketball player in Slovenia, so Luka grew up around the game. He was still too young to speak when he saw his father play live for the first time. At the age of 5, Luka was already playing basketball regularly. At the age of 8, he took part in his first serious basketball practice, which lasted exactly 16 minutes. It was enough for the coach to realize that Luka was way ahead of the others his age, so he put him in to play with the 12-year-olds. However, this was no real challenge for Doncic either. After a few training sessions, the coaches met to discuss the young prodigy and decided to move him from the basketball school to the Olympia club team, which was intended for more serious athletes. In the early years, Luka wasn't so dominant and often played a complementary role, never leading the team in points because he was 3 years younger than everyone else. With his feet growing faster than his body, he was sometimes clumsy and couldn't always do what he wanted on the court. But this helped him develop his game intelligence and fighting spirit. Although the age difference affected the way his teammates treated him off the court, like a younger brother, Luka refused to be treated like that on the court and never allowed himself to be bullied. The first time Luka played with boys his own age was at the age of 13 during an international under-13 tournament in Rome. At the time, Luka was 1.55 m tall, and his basketball skills and intelligence were far ahead of any 13-year-old in the world. He dribbled past defenders, made passes without looking, and hit soft shots. In the final game of the tournament, Doncic scored a triple-double with 54 points to lead his team to a 104-76 victory and was awarded MVP of the tournament, averaging 34 points per game. Luka was so dominant that all the youth scouts in Europe were impressed, and suddenly the secret was out. He became the most sought-after 13-year-old athlete in Europe, not just in basketball. Going to Madrid or Barcelona as a young player, no matter how talented, is often not a winning combination, and the number of young players who go there and never play for the first team is huge. But Luka wasn't going to back down in the face of a challenge. He started playing with older kids again, dominating youth tournaments and winning MVP awards. He quickly learned the language and adapted to Spanish culture, and after just 2 years, at the age of 15, he started training with the senior team. At 16, he made his debut for Real Madrid, becoming the youngest player to play for the club and the third youngest to make his debut in the history of the league. In the 2015-16 season, Doncic became a regular member of Real Madrid's first team, and when he made his EuroLeague debut, he became only the 21st player to compete in the EuroLeague before turning 17. He was 17 and made passes that nobody knew how he could make, and his basketball IQ was impressive. In the 2016-17 season, Luka exploded. In December 2016, before he'd even turned 18, Doncic was named Player of the Week in the Spanish League, and 4 days later, against Algiers, he was named MVP of the EuroLeague round, becoming the youngest player ever to do so. But it wasn't just the achievement that was impressive, it was how Luka did it. He hit 2 decisive shots in the last minute of the game, like a cold veteran, hitting both to win the game. Luka wasn't just a reserve who got hot, he really was a starter and the best player on the court in Europe's strongest competition. At the end of the season, he was named MVP of the EuroLeague round 3 more times, was voted Emerging Star of the EuroLeague by unanimous vote, and received the Spanish League's Best Young Player award. After the season, Luka joined the Slovenian national team to compete in Eurobasket 2017. There, he formed a backcourt duo with Goran Dragic, a guy who played with his father when Luka was just a 6-year-old Ganjula. In Slovenia's 103-97 quarterfinal win over Latvia, Luka scored 27 points and grabbed 9 rebounds. In the semifinal against Spain, he recorded 11 points, 12 rebounds and 8 assists without committing a single turnover, and Slovenia won again. In the final against Serbia, Luka scored 8 points and grabbed 7 rebounds before leaving the game in the third quarter due to injury. But Dragic was an unsolvable mystery to everyone, and with his 35 points, Slovenia won gold. Dragic was named the tournament MVP, and Luka was part of the team of the tournament, with averages of 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. However, Luka backed it all up with his play. He dominated in both the Spanish League and the EuroLeague, becoming the youngest to do so. Luka recorded the first triple-double in the Spanish League since 2007 and only the 7th in league history. Luka hit several decisive shots and didn't seem to miss. He led Real Madrid to the EuroLeague title, becoming the youngest player to win the Final Four MVP and the youngest to win the regular season MVP. After that, he did the same thing in the Spanish League, leading Real to the title and winning the MVP of the season. In just 3 years as a professional, Doncic became the LeBron of European basketball, a guy who doesn't need plays called and can run the entire offense by himself. Luka wasn't fast, but he always got to where he wanted on the court. He wasn't athletic, but he could throw defenders off balance. His shot wasn't perfect, but he always hit the important shots in the decisive moments. Despite Luka breaking almost every record in the second-best league in the world, winning every title, hitting big shots, and leading grown men at the age of 18, many NBA general managers believed he was no better than some college basketball players. They believed that Luka's game wouldn't translate to the NBA and that he was too slow for the league. That's how Doncic fell to the 3rd pick in the draft, going to the Atlanta Hawks, who later traded him to the Mavericks for Trae Young. Even the Mavericks, who wanted to draft Luka from the start and had been following his progress since he was 13, didn't fully understand his greatness. So much so that Luka didn't even start as a starting point guard in his rookie season. He shared the point guard role with Dennis Smith Jr., the previous year's lottery pick and all-rookie selection. Luka made his first start as a point guard 6 weeks into the season when Smith missed a game due to injury, recording 15 points and 8 assists in a home win over the Celtics. Luka then had averages of 20 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists during an 11-game streak in December, after which the Mavericks realized they had by far the best player in the draft. In January, Luka became the youngest player to record a triple-double and the first teenager in NBA history to achieve a triple-double of 30 points and multiple triple-doubles. Luka was only the 5th player in NBA history to have averages of at least 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in his rookie year. First of all, I'd like to make the playoffs, but personally, I think every rookie wants to win the Rookie of the Year award. He was just 2 votes away from becoming the 6th player to win the Rookie of the Year award unanimously. At the start of his second season, he became the fastest player to reach 2,000 points in the NBA, 5 games faster than LeBron James, 10 games faster than Durant and Carmelo, and 75 games faster than Kobe Bryant. When he acclimatized to the NBA, Luka didn't just become the most important piece in the Maverick system, he was the system. A guy who controlled everything and made everything happen. Luka had averages of 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists for the season. When the playoffs began, Luka raised his level even more. In his first playoff game against the Clippers, he scored 42 points, the highest debut score in the playoffs in NBA history. In the 4th game of the series, Luka became the youngest player in NBA postseason history to achieve a triple-double of 40 points, scoring 43 points, 17 rebounds, and 13 assists, including this decisive shot for the win.
Doncic pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Doncic wins the game at the buzzer!
However, the Clippers were still too strong for Dallas, winning the series in 6 games, despite Luka's averages of 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists. In his 3rd year, Luka continued to break records, once again being chosen for the All-NBA first team and finishing 6th in the MVP voting. Dallas again faced the Clippers in the first round, and Luka was even better this time, with averages of 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 10 assists. But the Mavericks lost again, this time in 7 games. As with all great players, the critics began to emerge. How can Luka be so good but not be able to win in playoffs? But the only difference between Luka and Michael Jordan, for example, is that Luka received this criticism earlier than anyone else, as he was only 21 years old. When the 2021-22 season started, Luka came back with a vengeance. In 2 consecutive games against the Clippers, his favorite client, Luka scored 96 points, including a career-high 51 points. During February, Luka became the first player in NBA history to average 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists per game, while shooting at least 40% from three-point range in a month. And he again made the All-NBA first team, but more importantly, the Mavericks finally started winning in the playoffs. They got past the Jazz in the first round, which guaranteed them a tough matchup against the Western Conference champions, the Phoenix Suns. It was a tough and balanced series, with the home team winning each of the first 6 games. Game 7 was played in Phoenix, and the world expected the Suns to advance. Instead, we saw a complete abomination and a total trampling. At one point, the Mavericks had a 46-point lead, and Luka humiliated Devin Booker who had mocked him in the previous game.
None. Doncic, three. Good! Booker comes out on Finney Smith, and Doncic goes right back. Pitches. Working him down low. Doncic with the bump and the spin. Another two, and he's got 12. Oh, and he's 16. Into Biombo, doubled inside. 27-point lead. Down goes Johnson. Three. Oh, no. They're shredding him.
However, in the conference finals against the Warriors, despite Luka averaging 32 points per game, the Mavericks were outplayed and lost the series in 5 games. In the 2023 season, Luka set a career record for points, 60, and rebounds, 21, becoming the first player in NBA history to record a triple-double with 60 points and 20 rebounds in a 126-121 win over the New York Knicks. Luka was the only player other than James Harden to record a triple-double of 60 points. Despite setting several other records and another All-NBA first-team selection, the Mavericks failed to make the playoffs, even after adding Kyrie Irving. That brings us to 2024, a year in which Luka took another step forward and improved his game even further. He increased his averages to an incredible 33.9 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 9.2 assists per game, winning his first scoring title. A January game against Atlanta, Luka scored 73 points, the 4th highest score of all time, and the first 70-point game with a 75% or better shooting percentage. Throughout the season, Luka disintegrated all defenses like rust disintegrates iron on abandoned ship, slowly and relentlessly. His footwork became so perfect that almost every step had its own meaning. One is small, the second a little bigger, third lulls you to sleep, and with the fourth, he's gone. This won't be Doncic's last basket title, and he will continue to break records as he has done throughout his career. Luka is only 25, but even if he retired now, he would already be one of the greatest of all time.